It is the worst thing that I've read, and the account of the woman who experienced this rape, it was just like, it made me so sad and sick to my stomach, because I was like, I know what it feels like to be that girl. So let's get into it, and I guess trigger warning for anyone who just wants to like tune out now, do so. So this third accusation came to light March 16th, 2021, so very recently. All of the names have been changed at the request of the victim, who gave her story to Business Insider, so we will be respecting that and using the names put forth in that article. So in 2018, a group of 8 college students were DMing with a guy who goes by the name Dirty Dom. His real name is Dominic something, and I forget his last name, / I can't pronounce it.
Delete
it's
your
his
name.
It's like his like persona. So a lot of the people on David Dobrik's podcast have like different persona names.
Is he a shitty guy?
That's what he goes by. Definitely a shitty guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Delete your face.
Yeah, delete your account. So he was known for being like gross and sexual with women, and that was kind of his shtick on the podcast.
Gross.
So he had been DMing with these college girls, and he was like, come over and let's have like a 7-some together. And they kind of thought it was a joke. They all said that like when they went to David Dobrik's house that night, none of them intended to have sex with anybody. And at the beginning of the vlog, you can see their hesitance. You can see them being like, haha, like we're just here to have fun. Like we don't actually want to have sex. And some of them even say that.
They're just like some rando girls, like hot celebrity, like not celebrity,
no, just
hot
like college,
Instagram.
not even.
Just
They're
college.
just like college girls who are spending time with this guy that they idolize because he's famous.
Right. A famous guy invites you over.
Right.
Classic manipulation of power.
And they're saying things like, you know, you can be my Instagram girlfriend. You can make $10,000 a week just by being here.
It feels real.
Yeah, and it's such a manipulation of their own power and clout to kind of take advantage of these girls who weren't even 21 at the time.
Yeah.
So they had been DMing. Dom was like, let's hook up, come over to David's. And so Hannah, who is the girl who actually doesn't even know who the Vlog Squad members are at this time. She's just with her friends.
Along for the ride.
She's just along for the ride. Her friends are like, we really want to go. David's like this huge deal. And at the time he was, I think at this point in 2018, he had 10 million followers.
That's a lot.
Or subscribers on YouTube.
1 million's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine 10 million people. Like, that's so many fucking people. So this next part is from Hannah's point of view. They're quotes that are pulled from the Insider article. So she says, I immediately felt really uncomfortable because I was under the impression that we were going to meet these cool creators and that we were going to hang out and maybe film something. But it was high pressure from the moment I walked in. It was very much an environment where I felt like saying no was not okay. It felt like from the moment we came in, there was an expectation that that they were going to do us a favor, and in exchange, we had to give them content. And when they weren't doing things, they were verbally saying things like, oh, why aren't you guys having fun? And they were all like, the guys were making different jokes about them where they were like, I bet you don't have a personality. Hot girls never do. And there was just this kind of pressure to be hooking up with the guys and kind of performing these sexual acts with them.
Right.
Even though they verbally were like, we're not really interested in this.
But they were like, they're inside this famous guy's place. He's saying, oh, you don't have a personality. Okay, now I feel shitty about myself, and the only way to redeem myself and show him that I'm cool is by sucking his dick.
Right. And so like even in the vlog, because David will do these voiceovers, and so like at one point he's like, he says something, I didn't write it down, but he says something akin to like, it seemed like Dom wasn't gonna make any progress at all. Like it seemed like, you know, there was no hope, but after a bit of convincing, he started to make progress. And by that, he means he sent 2 of his friends to go buy alcohol for the underage girls so that he could get them drunk.
Can you at least get 21-year-old college girls?
Yeah, like,
no.
Yeah. And like, it's just like the fact that they were...
Why would you put this on YouTube? Why would you incriminate yourself
for the
like
views?
This?
Because the thing is, they make jokes about it later that night where they're like, oh, like, we're going to go to jail after what we just did. Ha, 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 ha.
That's court evidence, you fucking dumbasses. Do they have lawyers?
Yeah. So he sends his friends to go get alcohol. And Hannah says that at this point, she can't really remember what happens afterward. And so that my heart just like kind of sinks. I'm like, I know that feeling. Her. Yeah. So she goes, I just remember being really uncomfortable and honestly really upset and angry that my friends thought that these guys were really cool and they were just really objectifying us and being really gross. She says that at a point, Dom had, you know, convinced her to go into his room. And when she tried to leave, he used his body to block the door. And in order to leave, she just gave him a kiss because she felt like he had to. And I know that feeling. Like I have done more with guys because I felt like I was obligated to do it with, you know, just because I was like, I don't feel safe and I would rather just like give you a kiss or give you a blowjob so that you don't rape me. And I know that feeling exactly. According to her friend Sarah, there was a lot of alcohol that was being exchanged and it was like being nudged toward her friend. She said there were definitely times where she was drinking it of her own volition, but there were also times where he was clearly trying to get her to drink more and it wasn't really up to her. So more drinks are had. The girls are getting really drunk. Hannah herself is becoming blackout. And in the end, a few girls ended up in Dom's room to have a threesome. And this is where the details get like really sad. So one of the girls was saying that she went in because she didn't want Hannah to be alone in that room with him. She was like, she needed a friend in there. I was going to be that friend. Hannah says that she does not remember having sex with Dom and that her friend Audrey was the one who told her after that night that she had performed sexual acts with him that were penetrative. Specifically, Hannah said Audrey told her that Dom was having sex with Hannah and didn't stop even as Hannah began to show signs of blacking out and losing consciousness. At that moment, Audrey took over the sex to save her friend and to get Dom to stop having sex with her passed out friend.
Wow. That is actually the truest friendship woman.
Yeah. It's so sad and it's such a beautiful statement of friendship, and it also breaks my heart because like that should never ever have to happen.
That is like literally, that just sounds like a disgusting sort of video that Pornhub had to delete.
And it's upsetting because like I already know that there are people who are going to be out there being like, well, she went into the room, like didn't she know what she was getting into? And it's like, if you're drunk to the point of passing out, and frankly if you're drunk at all in a situation where you've been coerced to have alcohol, like no, you're not in a position to give consent, and like I just like fuck off if you're about to defend this guy.
Most definitely involved here. Okay.
So her friends said that Dom and Audrey came out of the room first, and that Hannah didn't come out, and they had to go into the room and they found Hannah lying limp on the bed. They had to like walk her out of the room into the bathroom and help her pull trig because she couldn't do it for herself and she couldn't stand up. Super sad. They had to help her out of the apartment and walk her to the car and like basically explain everything that happened to her the next day.
Wow.
And so like that's everything that transpired that night, and there are already people I know who are like, it's not so bad, it's not bad at all, like she was drunk, they were drunk, it's fine. But notably, and here's where I want to talk about David Dobrik and his responsibility in all of this, is he is continually exploits his friends and like pushes them toward doing things that are inappropriate or wrong, or like kind of sets up these, you know, jokes that are at other people's expenses for his videos. And more importantly, he's sober. Like he does not drink in any of his videos.
He's a psychopath. He's drunk on psychopathy.
On the power. And like, you know, I think there's always this sentiment of like, well, why did, you know, if they were both drinking, then it's fine. But like David himself was sober the entire time, should have seen what was happening and should have put an end to it. Like, he absolutely did see,
and he was applauding and encouraging it.
He absolutely was. He also was peeking his head in the room to try and film it for the vlog. That's the other thing, is like, this is all calculated. That's why I keep saying like drugs. Like there's no way. Hannah and her friends expressed that they were like, you know, even if I had been drunk and like consented to that sex, I did not consent to like having it filmed. I didn't consent to other people coming into the room. And now what we're seeing is like all of the guys in this vlog squad kind of trying to backpedal and be like, oh, I wasn't there for that. Like I didn't take part. Like I didn't buy the alcohol. And it's like, well, we know they didn't. They didn't really want to be there. And it's just really, it's really,
none of you stopped whoever did it.
Right. And like no one was the adult in the room. And like even Trisha and Jason, who were there at the beginning, they left. Apparently what happened was David was like, get these girls some alcohol, and he told Jason to get it, and Trisha was like, you're not buying alcohol for minors, we're leaving. They ended up leaving, and it was, I think it was Jeff who ended up going to buy the whiskey for the girls, and now he's trying to be like, I didn't buy it, I left after 30 minutes, but there are timestamps of photos of him being there.
Yes.
And
sting operation.
It's so upsetting to hear these kinds of things, because David and his vlog squad members are people who have been like very idolized by really young people. Like they make adult content, like for everything kids. I've described, for children. Like my sister, who's just turning 17, I thought it was her birthday. It's in 2 days. Who's just turning 17, you know, has been watching them since she was, you know, 14 years old.
4 years old.
And I think there's like, you know, so much of the behavior that these kids do, these kids who are content creators and raised on YouTube, you know, they come to it when they're so young. It's usually like they're dropping out of high school. They're not like totally educated. And so like, I totally understand that there are gaps in their education and knowledge. And, you know, I think a lot of them try and point to that as an excuse for why they do these bad things, these cancelable things. But it gets to a point where like, you know what consent is and you know what it looks like. And you encouraged your friends to feed underage girls alcohol and to have sex with them, knowing that when they walked into your apartment, you know, a few hours earlier, they expressed not wanting to do that.
Well, dude, I think that people know what consent is, but they don't understand the meat. Like, they hear it as a buzzword and like a woke radical feminist thing, but they don't get it. And they're just so desperate for attention. And we know that people in power are bad. Any politician is not a good politician. There's no such thing as a good politician, really. Anyone in power is corrupt. And what you're saying about the environment that all these people are raised in, and that kind of like, I mean, we got to have a study on all these people, the factors and how they relate to people and stuff. And, you know, Tana, what's her last name? Ming-Jo.
Tana.
Whatever. She has been really vocal about her upbringing and her past and explaining that to everyone. And this is like sort of after going through a lot of shit shows. And that's really important. Agreed. I don't think David will get to that point unless he like...
Well, and that's the thing. Like, David has made a couple apology videos, but it's always blame shifting. It's like, oh, but those were my friends. And it's like, those might have been your friends, but those were your friends that you were encouraging to do those things while you were sober and they were drunk. He's like the master manipulator behind all of it. And in a way, to me, that makes it worse. And even more so is the way that David markets himself is as like this kind of good guy, boy next door type of like, I'm just like the fun guy who captures all the videos.
Yeah.
When it's like, you're the one who is staging these, you know, situations, you're encouraging it to happen. And then when you get called on it, you take 2 steps back and you're like, because he makes his friends the actors and him the filmographer, he gets to say like, I'm at an arm's length from it. But it's like, no, my guy, you are responsible. It is your name on the vlog. You're the one who's, you know, encouraging
You're the producer.
Yeah,
you're the director. You're the editor, the writer, you're the persecutor, judge, and
judge, jury, executioner.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just, I think it's, I don't know, it's wow, there's so much to unpack. And I think YouTube culture is so interesting because like you said, and I said, like the education level of a lot of the kids who are making this content who become adults are sort of grooming their viewers to think that what they're doing is normal.
They're making their viewers relive their own child, like they're giving them the worst of what they've gotten from their childhood, like the values sort of. And
and they're doing it from their like $1 million mansions, being like, this is normal and okay and profitable. But like what they're actually teaching is, you know, and I don't think it's on celebrities or YouTubers to be teaching our kids.
No, but it's on our society to create systems that doesn't produce people who are so broken like this. And dude, we watched New York Minute the other day, the Mary Kate and Ashley movie, iconic. And Eugene Levy plays, I don't remember the official,
truancy officer.
A truancy officer who is kind of like a
he's policed to keep kids in school,
a bounty hunter for kids who have been missing school. And so this is a case where like
that's what all these YouTube kids need.
Exactly. They should have been in school. Tana should have been in school. David should have been in school. Like or maybe they were in school. They were in the wrong school. It's all about our fucking education. Yeah. Stop creating YouTube monsters.
But yeah, you know, it's funny because like I texted my sister about it because she's such a David fan, and she's like, no, like I'm reeling. I'm so upset. Like this guy was like a hero of mine basically, and now he's being canceled. And I feel like, you know, I feel like there are so many people who are unwilling to cancel him because he was so much fun, or like because he created content that helped people. It's like we have to be able to criticize our idols.